I don't have a CS degree, and sometimes I get imposter syndrome from that. Day to day, I'm working with tools like, React, Angular, MVC frameworks on the back end, Docker. None of that stuff really makes me feel like I have imposter syndrome because, it's pretty much you read the manual, try and figure it out, and you try and understand as best you can, but it's okay if you don't understand every single implementation detail so long as you can use the abstraction on top of it. But when it gets into computer science stuff, that is the time where I start thinking maybe I don't know enough about this stuff. Maybe there's things that I need to learn, and I'm always trying to learn those things, but there's only so much time in the day. Now, Conway's game of life is something that I've seen posted a lot before, and I always thought it was one of those things that would be really, really complicated, and it would just take me forever to understand how something like this works. But then last week, while procrastinating, I decided I'm just going to look this thing up. And it turns out it's super easy. Like there was no reason to be worried about it. So let me just show you how this thing plays out. So I built this in React and TypeScript. If you've never seen Conway's Game of Life, you're seeing it now. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so how does this thing even work? You have a grid here with cells that are either on or off or alive or dead, whatever term you want to use. And then there are certain rules for each turn. So every turn, some of them are going to die and some of them are going to come back to life based on a few rules. And then when you actually play it out, you get pretty interesting patterns because of that. And the rules are actually really simple. You can look them up, but it's essentially if you're alive and 2 or 3 of your neighbors are also alive, then you will stay alive. If you're alive and 1 or 0 of your neighbors is alive, you'll die. And if you're alive and 4, 5, or 6 of your neighbors is alive, you die. And then if you're dead, but 3 of your neighbors are alive, you come back to life. So I built the initial version in the console in, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. It was actually really easy. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to turn this into React. So now I've got a few little different dials here, so I can make this thing happen really, really fast. And I've got a little graph here on the side with the population. You can set it so you get a random board, and then you can try that out. One of the things that's cool is that it's deterministic, right? So reset it, get the exact same set, and of course you're always going to end up in the same end state, which is kind of cool to watch. Which means that if you have a pattern that you like, you can make it and you can share that link with people. So what I've done here, let's depopulate this grid. We can make like a little smiley face, something like this. There we go. So I made it that you can, oh, this is not good. I made it that you can draw on this thing. This was actually kind of hard to do in React. I'm sure I'm just doing it wrong, but it's pretty hard to get this little drawing thing working. Okay, so let's say I like this. I run it and I think, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. Great. So now I can just copy the URL because the URL updates as I create the thing, paste it into a new console, and there we go. There's my smiley face. So you can send these off to people. So if you want to play around with this thing, I'll have all the links in the description below. You can and you can create something kind of cool. Then please post it in YouTube, and then we can all play around with whatever creation you've created. I also have it set up so you can make this thing a lot wider or taller. And I'm amazed at the performance of this because so when I say turn delay is 50 milliseconds, that's basically a set timeout or a set interval. And if you know how that works in JavaScript, it's not actually 50 milliseconds. It means delay for 50 milliseconds and then run at the next available opportunity. And it's just, I'm amazed at how quickly this thing can actually re-render, considering I have a lot of data stored, because I actually have all of the history here stored every time, right? Like this history is all stored. I can go back, I can go forward. I've got this chart here. So it's pretty amazing to me that this thing renders as quickly as it does. So at 500 millisecond delay, it's still pretty quick. But when you get it to a 1 second delay, I find at this speed is where I can sort of predict the entire board. Like I can predict the next state. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I can't. I'm joking. Imagine that were true. That would be amazing. It's ridiculous. So I'm done with this thing for now. Again, it was a distraction from a bigger project that I've been working on. But it was a fun one. And it was one of those ones that like when I'm done, I'm like, hey, I've got something I can show. It's kind of great. But I think I'm just going to stop here. The other thing I'm thinking about doing is starting a trend of Game of Life Wave music. So I'll show you a little clip of that. Tell me what you think. Do you like that? Is this the next big thing? Let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.